What is going on, guys? Welcome back. We are in the finals. Thunderbirds versus Team Turret Dive, and Team Turret Dive are looking pretty strong after that first win, but it was a very back and forth game. I'm joined by Decerux. Pay no attention to the stream over there. I just fixed that. All right, so it's you and I.
Actually love D in disguise. Surprise, bamboozled, got y'all.
Aww,
but
you got
yeah,
me.
what a game to come out of Team Turret Dive, and specifically back from Earth. The guy has his comfort on Ezreal. He was allowed to play that, and he played it to great success, but it wasn't without a fight. It went back and forth from both teams. What do you expect to see from the draft this time?
Honestly, I want to see the Ezreal banned away or picked if Dud Online can play it. And on the side of Team Turret Dive, or actually, the bans are already coming out pretty quick here. Honestly, I expected a Gragas ban, but they're really trying to...
There it is.
There's the Ezreal ban, at least. They're really going to target the Thresh here and the Sejuani, keeping those away from Team Turret Dive. I expected a Gragas as well. Maybe they're trying to first pick it, because obviously, like we mentioned, Ariana Grande has been very good on it. So, I don't know, Gragas is actually going to be banned away by Team Turret Dive. So we're going to see a new jungler, probably two new junglers, because after that Ivern showing, I'm not so confident it'll be making a repeat performance.
Yeah, I mean, if that was JLC's idea, whoever's doing the bans might want to ban out the Ivern, because it was not successful. He played that like it was just any other jungler, and Ivern really doesn't play that way. He's a support jungler. He works well with the macro game. He works well with the rotations. He works well with tower sieges, all that stuff. It doesn't work well when you try and equalize a 2v2 on a counter gank. And we do see Echo picked up for Keckle, denying it from Schlid, who did pop off in the late game.
Yeah, I must be a comfort champion for him. They probably weren't too interested in running the Cho'Gath again. That's what I would guess. So because they're not interested in running the Cho'Gath, it looks like what is instead going to happen here is that they're going to take the Echo away and hope that Schlid doesn't really have a counter pick prepared for it. But it would be funny if he just picks up the Cho'Gath next. And now they're going to sort of... I guess their original plan was probably to first pick the Gragas for Ariana Grande there, as opposed to the mid laner. But Echo's a fine takeaway, I think. Schlid, like you mentioned, didn't have a very strong performance on an early game. Or last game, rather.
Yeah, and Schlid... I don't know what he plays after that. They had the comp that says, we're going to dive your backline. I don't know too much about Schlid, so it's really hard to read what he's going to do next. We do see the Vi and Varus locked in. When it comes to Ariana Grande, if he goes to Eve, I'm going to be very confused, because he's playing a lot of things that we don't normally see out of him. We saw the Ivern picked up, which was somewhat of a comfort, not really comfort. He plays it seldomly. Evelyn, he doesn't play that often at all. I'm expecting a Graves pick, if anything.
Yeah, a Graves, a Lee Sin, a Rek'Sai. I mean, we've seen all these champions that he has played to decent effect here. And he's hovering all these different ones instead. I could see the Warwick, actually. They've already shown the jungler for Mickey Does Little. He's going to be going on to the Vi. There's the Rek'Sai, though.
That's something that's going to work for him, especially because, yeah, it's a tank, which means it's always going to be helpful no matter what, and it provides crowd control, and it's something JLC is really comfortable playing. He's played a lot of it, especially in previous seasons, so we should see some pretty good things to come out of that Rek'Sai. Expect him to do the behind the tower gank.
Yeah, that has been, of course, it's a patented Rek'Sai gank. And Ariana Grande is more than confident on the champion, so wouldn't be surprised there. Talqueen might be breaking out the Scion support once again. Though on red side, I imagine it might be a little worse in the bottom lane, but red side Varus is very, very powerful. So wouldn't surprise me a bit if they go for some comfort since they have the Varus.
Yeah, that's a bit of synergy in that. I mean, you get the Chain of Corruptions out there, and you get the freest of all knockups. And the thing about that knockup, God, I hate Scion for that. Whoa. To finish my thought real quick, that knockup lasts for ages, but it looks like we're not even going to see that. Tryndamere locked in has to be a placeholder.
I could only imagine Orianna for Schlid. More conventional control mage than the Cho'Gath. A safe pick.
It is Rakan. Tryndamere Rakan, I've just been informed.
All right, so it's going to be the Rakan stealing it away from Xayah. That is on the line. We'll be playing that champion. What's your opinion on Xayah? I haven't. I know they're pretty broken together, but just by herself.
I mean, Xayah's a very potent champion. I think she works well with a lot of those on-hit builds, like the Blade of the Rune King, Into the Runeins type builds. But the bad thing about her is, yeah, she does have so much strength, especially when she recalls those feathers. The big issue is just her attack range is pretty small, and if you don't play those fights right, you can really get punished for it. And so far, it could be pretty dangerous to pick the Xayah, given we do have a Rakan, we do have the Vi, but nothing too locked down, nothing too much that's really going to punish it. So I believe it's a pretty good pick for the Thunderbirds.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Xayah is that I feel like you do have to play the fights well, like you said. Positionally, you have to be very conscious of that, and that was something that Dutters Online was rightfully criticized for last game on the Caitlyn. Was getting caught out quite a bit, mostly by Mickey Does Little on the Gragas, so maybe they feel like with that off the table, they don't really have to worry about that as much. Vi can still do quite a bit of damage to you as an AD carry without mobility, but important to note here that the Xayah does have the Featherstorm, I think it's called, her ultimate, that will allow her to sort of ignore that, so I believe that will counteract that to some degree.
I'm curious to see how that works together. I want to see the Assault and Battery into Featherstorm. Does it put it on the full cooldown?
I'm not sure. I know that at minimum it would put it on like a 5 or 10 second cooldown, which is enough to sustain through a fight probably, or maybe nuke the Vi depending on the build. So either way, it's very disruptive. But maybe it just maybe it's not that long at all. Maybe it's like the Z ultimate when it gets dodged, and it just resets almost immediately. So it looks like Urgot is Kennen. So we will be seeing Kennen top lane coming out against what I believe was... Actually, I don't remember the top lane pick for Thunderbirds. Was it a Nautilus?
Yeah, suddenly I don't remember either.
Yeah, it was. They picked the Echo.
With all the placeholders, I got thrown off completely. Yeah.
The Xayah, and then it was, I don't know, we'll see pretty soon.
Same dance going out. All the picks are locked in, so this should go by fairly quickly.
It was the Rumble, yep. So it was a Kennen into a Rumble. That is a fairly strong matchup for the Kennen, but it's... Anytime you have, like, damage-dealing jungle match, or damage-dealing top-lane matchups, it is very easily tilted towards one way or the other by the jungler. However, with the new AD Kennen build that's come out, I think Kennen has more relevance just because of the split push potential. Rumble is much more of a team fight oriented laner, so definitely.
I mean, they're both really team fight oriented. It's like Kennen, if he gets them all grouped together, that is a dream. Slicing Maelstrom can do some work. The only thing is, I don't think they really have the most complement for the Slicing Maelstrom. They do have the Orianna, so it's kind of iffy. I'm kind of like confused by their comp. It has great teamfight potential, but it feels like it can get melted down very quickly, especially given the draft coming out of Thunderbirds.
I think what you want to happen here is that the Vi ults in with the Sultan Battery, and then Rakan will use the Majestic Entrance there to leap towards the Vi, and then use the quickness to charm the rest of the team that's around the target that Vi ulted towards the Kennen, who can Slicing Maelstrom them, but that, or the Orianna and the Varus who can use their ultimates. But yeah, it is very much like an ideal situation, and if Thunderbirds are at all wary of that, they will probably choose to sort of pick and choose their fights a little bit differently. However, with AD Kennen, like I mentioned, you can just sit there and split push, so you can't really just leave the Kennen to its own devices. Either way, it's going to be a threat, whether it groups or it stays in a side lane. It's just how you respond to it. And there will be a Nautilus support, Xayah Nautilus against Varus Rakan. That's an interesting bot lane matchup. I would not have expected that at the beginning of this series.
I'm really not fond of Keckle going for the... Wow, he changed it at the very last second.
Just to
oh my god. Yeah, bamboozled 100%. When it comes to these compositions, overall, I kind of want to give it to Team Turret Dive. They have a lot of wombo combo potential, but they're not really going to get it onto Dut this time. But guess who they can get it on? Keckle. Keckle can get locked up by the Assault and Battery, can get locked up by stuns, he can be denied using the Chrono Shift whatsoever in fights if they play their cards right, especially with the Chain of Corruptions. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he plays out the team fight phase. And with Xayah being so close range, I am actually pretty scared for the Thunderbirds having that pick drafted, especially considering what you said earlier, the criticisms about Dud's Online and his positioning. So I'm going to have to give this one to Team Turret Dive. What about you?
I think that the cards are definitely, like, the cards on the table definitely favor Team Turret Dive. They have a hand that is very proactive in a sense. I expect to see a lot of reaction coming out from the Thunderbirds, where they can sort of dictate, like the Rek'Sai can pick and choose when to gank a little bit earlier than the Vi, and depending on the Vi's build, will probably be a little bit more useful in the early to mid game, but I still think all the wombo, all the team fight, and even failing that, the split push, the 1-4 split push coming out with Kennen somewhere with teleport available, it's going to be in favor of Team Turret Dive. Double teleport in favor of Thunderbirds. Tides have now turned. They had double teleport last game, Team Turret Dive did, so it's a little bit different now, but I still think I'm going to go ahead and stay on your side right now. I'll put my hand for Team Turret Dive off of this comp, but we both thought it was going to be the Thunderbirds last game, and it was not, so...
We could just caster curse a best of 5, just straight up send it to game 5 and see what happens from there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. We'll see how Thunderbirds want to bounce back. I think their comp is strong, but I don't think it's as uniformly powerful in any given manner, or it doesn't have any singular strength in the same sense as the team fighting coming out of Team Turret Dive's comp, which is why I give the edge to them, because team fighting is something you see all the time in these games. I mean, take last game, it was a very bloody game. In 45 minutes, there were over, like, 70 kills probably. So, you know, you factor that in. If you think this game is going to go pretty similarly, I mean, unless there's early advantages on the side of Thunderbirds, I don't expect them to be winning team fights versus the comp of Team Turret Dive, especially with all those wombo combo synergies that we talked about.
But that is the thing, though. Early advantages are very possible with the comp the Thunderbirds have drafted. They do have a comp that works very well. They have early lockdown and support. Give that with JLC's Rek'Sai, and you have a lot of potential to just get some early kills in that bot lane, especially considering how immobile Varus is, as well as the teleport. Notice, Schlid does not have teleport on their Orianna, which is the right thing to do, mostly. But given the teleport, you should expect this early game to be very, very in favor of the Thunderbirds, but I do see Team Turret Dive outscaling when it comes to the mid game.
Right, and that's really the thing, is how much of an early advantage can they take, and how long can they hold on to it for? That's the question the Thunderbirds have to ask themselves. Our teams are loading onto the Rift, we're loading onto the Rift with them. We'll be there just momentarily for Game 2 of this final series. We'll have to see who becomes the Dragon League champions. And remember, Ariana Grande already won the first season. He's looking to do it again, but he's right now down by 1 game.
Wants the 2 rings. He wants to be Super Bowl champ. He wants to have the JLC dynasty. Gonna be possible. We're gonna find out soon enough. But for those of you just joining us, this is Ascension eSports Dragon League. This is an LCS-style tournament with a regular season and playoffs for players in Bronze through Silver. If you're interested in joining, check the links down below. We have divisions for all ELOs, including Elder, which is for Gold through Plat, and Phoenix for Diamond and above. So please, check out our Discord, check out our subreddit. We hope to see you here soon.
What we will definitely be seeing soon is some action. If last game is any indicator, And for that action, I'm going to be taking a step back and doing the analysis for this game. Decerux is going to take the reins on the play-by-play. We'll just keep alternating it as we feel we need to or want to. So you'll be listening to his sexy voice for the time being till the Nexus cracks.
Oh, yeah.
There you go, the Kool-Aid man. That's what I like to do.
Yeah. But yeah, the question is, who's Nexus is gonna crack first? I really, as I've said it already, I like the comp that's been drafted by Team Turret Dive. And there's just so many factors that can play into this. And it's hard to just say they're outright gonna win, but their early game is not that strong. And given Ariana Grande, he looked not that good at all on the Ivern, but now he's on a champion that he can do the plays that he was trying to do on the Ivern, but actually be successful on them because he's on a champ that's more jungle oriented, that's meant to disrupt, that's meant to soak damage, that's meant to do damage, rather than the Ivern, which is, the support. I want a macro.
We're going to have to see just how that's going to go. That will be happening sooner rather than later. Hopefully no pause this time. It looks like Back from Earth has... Yeah, he's connected. He's bought items already. So we're good to go. We're in. Our teams are going for it.
And nothing out of the ordinary coming out. I am a little bit confused on Duts Online going for the Doran's Blade start. I would rather prefer the Longsword. Try and rush out a Blade of the Rune King. Especially considering the short range from the matchup he has. It's not exactly like the super devastating matchup that's going to stomp him outright.
Right. Well, interestingly enough, I have been seeing some Ashe players pick up the Doran's Shield because it helps them out quite a bit in the laning phase in a rough lane, like thinking like a Caitlyn Zyra or something. Caitlyn Lulu that has a lot of auto attacks involved. Oh, a lot of pinging happening though.
I wish I could say more about the Doran Shield, but I haven't seen a big enough sample size to make a judgment on it.
Right, it's just something I have noticed that it happens every now and then. Not quite sure if we'll see that on any 80 carries anytime soon in this series, but for the time being, it's just some Doran's Blades. Vision has gone down for both teams in the river.
And a pretty good ward to come out from the Thunderbirds. They are going to have knowledge on where Mickey Does Little is starting.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting enough, neither jungler opting for the Raptor start. Rek'Sai does a pretty good job with the Raptors. I'm surprised that that's not what they're going for. Maybe they're giving the Xayah, the bottom lane, a little bit more priority, I guess. Get them the lane a little faster, since they're not leashing. Or their opponents aren't leashing, rather. Ooh, Kickle already getting chunked out there.
Yeah, you don't want the early trades with Schlid's Orianna. Especially giving those auto attacks. It's basically like being level 2 right off the bat. And look at this damage going on to Arrow. Arrow actually trying to trade this out a little bit. Doesn't get too much out of it. Overall, an even trade.
Yeah, just so far. Relic Shield will heal him up a little bit more than Toclean's trinket, or support item rather, the ancient coin, but he's got the poke advantage, most certainly. Ooh, got some aggression in the mid lane.
Keckle looking to get some aggression in, immediately running away, does get a good chunk of damage, but also paid for it as well. Yeah,
this is definitely a very aggressive mid lane. If last match was anything to believe, a trendsetter maybe, this Keckle was going in very heavily onto Schlid's Echo as the Cho'Gath. Got an early solo kill and everything. Trying to repeat performance, but it's a little hard when you're melee into ranged.
Oh, no kidding. Especially when that range is Orianna. Like, it's one thing to get autoed, but to get autoed by Orianna, oh, goodness.
You don't say. We got a gank in the top lane.
In the top lane, Color C having the flash away. Overall successful gank, burning that flash, but Arrow's getting caught out. Gets under the tower just in time. Doesn't have to burn any summoners.
That is a fair bit of pressure in an already tilted matchup that's in the favor. Whoa, hold that thought. We got a fight in the mid lane.
Oh, we have a fight in the bottom lane. Actually, Arrow's caught out, running extremely low. Will the heal be popped to save him? First blood picked up by Back from Earth.
This is the superstar the Dragon League needs. 2 kills in the early game of game 1. Now first blood in a 2-on-2. Thanks in part to Mickey Does Little rather, on the Vi, coming down a little bit earlier. Oh, and speaking of which,
a JLC caught out, instantly burrowing over, getting the safety, or maybe not, has to flash over the wall.
That will
but
be.
to back that up a bit, Dud is Online has heal. He didn't use it to save Arrow. It would have been an easy avoidance of first blood.
Perhaps a little bit of miscommunication. Dud is Online was a little bit far away, but I think it was still definitely in range. That is a very high range in general. So. Oh, and now we see, actually, curiously enough, we see what was going through Keko's mind. He has teleport. As mid laner with teleport early, of course what you want to do is take aggressive trades. Well, now Schlid has to stay in lane to match the wave clear, but has no mana.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of mana, he's got no health either.
100% right on that.
So Kekl playing the macro side of that. Gonna be
Color C.
Color C has no flash. Oof. That was
play it like that?
Was rough. That's already 8 CS down. It's only going to be more after that kill. That's not what Team Turret Dive wanted to hear from their top laner. But Kennen can scale as a split pusher just fine.
Look at JLC.
I'm looking at him. I don't know if I don't think Team Turret Dive's looking at him though. He's here. He's behind the turret.
Yeah, and they're going after Talkly and gets knocked up. Manages to dash away, a flash burnt from both of the bot laners on the side of Team Turret Dive. Overall successful gank, but he has to repeat it to make it work.
He has to repeat it to gain gold. And that was a beautiful escape from Talkly on the Rakan using the, what is that ability called? Majestic Entrance, not to be confused with
Hero's Entrance.
With Hero's Entrance. It might be Dramatic Entrance, actually. Let me just confirm that real quick. I'm curious.
The Grand Entrance.
Grand Entrance. See? It's all these entrances. Either way, he found himself an exit from that fight, and now Mickey Does Little trying to get some pressure. Oh, here we go.
Oh, Dud is Online, is caught out, has to flash away, will stay alive. We do see Brando is teleported up. Mickey Does Little is getting caught out, taking a lot of damage, gets knocked up, and that's a kill picked up by Dud.
Holy moly, Brando Calrissian using his teleport and his flash to get some pressure. Was not able to secure the kill onto Talkly, but with 4 people versus 3, a definitive advantage for the Thunderbirds early on in this game. However, gold is still in favor ever so slightly in favor of Team Turret Dive, and it's partly because of the CS advantage, probably in the jungle. As we take it. No, actually, never mind. I keep forgetting that since they changed all those jungle camps with all those little ones, CS is not a very accurate depiction. Whoa! Shockwave!
Oh! He fell extremely low.
That was single-digit HP, I guarantee you. Somebody clip that one and send it to me.
Most definitely.
Whoa!
Kekl almost gets dropped. A flash burn coming out of Schlid, but doesn't get the flash out of Kekl.
That is pretty crucial. Schlid much less mobile in the middle lane. Orianna doesn't really like not having a flash, even though they're in the shortest lane. I mean, Rek'Sai, when the Rek'Sai is Ariana Grande, you know you could be in for a gank. So.
Yeah. The one thing to point out, though, you were talking earlier, Dud is Online being the wild turtle. I just want to point out, Brando Calrissian's basically the Haunter. He's been doing so much in these games. Even in the game where he was behind, he was absolute unstoppable beast.
No kidding. He has actually been. It was one of the main reasons, I should say, that Thunderbirds were in that last game. As long as they were. Didn't quite clinch the win, but he was a big part of their successes throughout that match. Now it looks like Mickey Does Little wants to exert some pressure, though. Waiting for Brando to go forward. Here we go. The gank is good.
Oh, the caster curse affects Brando Calrissian as he drops to Mickey Does Little. And then a hook onto Talkly, and Talkly able to dash away, tries to dash back in, gets rooted, and that might be the end for Talkly, and Dud is Online a little bit too far back. No flash available for Dud is Online, so there won't be a kill picked up. Back from Earth, needing to back off, and he gets hooked.
Ooh.
Is that going to be the kill? No, heal is used, but Dud is online. Picks
There
it up
we go.
anyway.
Oh, teleport coming in.
Teleport coming in. This doesn't look too good for Dud is online. He needs to pick up something. Can't get anything. Drops to the color C. Actually, Talklian takes that one.
Yeah, you know, he did a lot of work there, darting in and out, trying to stay alive. He figures he can use a little extra gold for him, but that is a little bad for Color C, whose top laner is a top lane opponent there, Brando Calrissian on the Rumble. He's going to be able to catch back up in the CS advantage a little bit. Color C will not be able to make it back in time to stop some tower damage, so it is traded back. I mean, it's still pretty good. I mean, 1-for-1 though. I give the advantage out of that to the Thunderbirds because they now will have teleport advantage, and it was a 1-for-1 trade. Well, Color C trying to make him a little bit more, but he's on a ward.
He gets spotted out, and we do see a knockup coming out of Ariana Grande.
No flash
looking
on the
get...
Orianna.
Ooh.
Not quite.
Yeah, unfortunately, not able to get much out of that.
Not
Does
even the
put
ghost,
pressure,
yeah.
which can result in dragon control.
Well, it may very well result in that. Still no summoners besides the exhaust for the bottom lane of Team Turret Dive. Nautilus has his flash, might use it to try and engage despite being only half HP here, but both junglers are in the area.
And look at JLC is going to do a repeat of what he's been doing with those behind the tower ganks.
Indeed.
He's going in.
Here we go.
And a great knockup to come out of Arrow. Salted Battery onto Dud is online. Dud is online, falling critically low, but has to back off. We should see a knockup onto Mickey Does Little. Knocks him airborne, trying to run away. Gets the Vault Breaker to safety. Talklian's going to get snared up and knocked up as they look to try and get something. Unable to get any kills on either side.
There's a lot of blinking health bars, but no gold just yet in favor of either team as a result of that exchange. A little bit of pressure in the bottom lane in favor of the Thunderbirds, but they're going to be keeping it going for the time being. Just a lot of posturing. On the backside, or before that fight even started, Keckle was also going very aggressive in the mid lane, still exerting pressure, but got to be sure that you don't fall behind in CS. Orianna's a great CSer, farmer. So, no surprise there that Schlid has been able to keep up and up. Right now, 15 CS up. That's over 2 waves. It's 2.5 waves up right now, which is basically a kill, right?
Oh, speaking of kill, Keckle trying to get one of his own onto Schlid. A lot of punishment, a lot of aggression. Speaking of aggression, the quickness onto Arrow. Charming up. Dud is online, trying to flash away. Having to use the feathers to get a double root.
Whoa!
Tries to pick up back from Earth, unable to get the kill. And this bot lane, both sides just don't want to fall.
No kidding. There's too much resilience coming out of there. Back from Earth almost fell on the backside of that Feather Storm. That was a crazy double root from the Feather Collar, Blade Collar, whatever that skill is called. That is online, making a name for himself on the Xayah. Much more successful despite the pressure.
Oh, Ariana Grande going over the wall, but down to his grave goes the Orianna. Schlid not having a good time with that one.
No, but the low health on Ariana Grande means Cloud Drake picking up for Team Turret Dive. They already had the tempo advantage on it anyways after the bottom lane play, so they trade the mid lane for the Dragon. Not really the best of trades given the mid lane pressure right now, but still 10 CS up. You could sort of afford to do that, especially since your Orianna just barely did not have flash. It was like 5 or 10 seconds after they died, the flash came up, so Schlid's going to be feeling a little unlucky out of that one. Good timing by Ariana Grande. This is what we talked about, though. The Rek'Sai is making plays on the map. You don't see it reflected in the scoreline too much. Only 2 assists, but he's been blowing flashes since basically the 3rd minute.
Yeah, no kidding. He looks much more comfortable on the Rek'Sai. And let's face it, he should look more comfortable. It's his champion, pretty much. It's the #1 thing he plays. He's really good at playing it, and he's putting on a good display. As he said, scoreline doesn't show it, but the flashes he's burning has been critical to even being in this game for the Thunderbirds.
Definitely. We're going to have to see how it comes out, though. Ariana Grande moving forward, flashing onto him. There we go.
He just got his flash back up, and it's already
On
burnt
cooldown.
again. And there's a chain of corruptions going on to Dud is online, able to back off, but Toklian really wants this kill, unable to get it. Depth charge doing a lot of work of disrupting back from Earth.
That was really good timing, though, because Featherstorm was not up for Dud is online. It will be pretty soon. Ooh, that arrow did connect, but it wasn't enough just yet. I think Xayah will be spending some time back at base. Uh-oh. Ariana Grande.
JLC spotted out.
Whoa, but he manages to get out of there.
Yeah, the blast plant used a great efficiency, trying to get out, but Assaulted Battery takes out Ariana Grande. Looks like Arrow's gonna be next. Has no hook, has no flash, has no health as he drops to Mickey Does Lil.
Yeah, that's gonna be 2 quick kills picked up thanks to the Vibe being in the right spot. Must have been a ward that caught him out. Maybe that vision ward. I'm not really sure. We didn't really catch the pathing there, but that was pretty good heads-up play from Toklian to go around the corner.
Oh, whoa! Slid fumbles hard with the shockwave.
That was just a little embarrassing. We'll pretend directed camera didn't quite catch that one. Well, first turret in favor of the Vi on Team Turret Dive.
Pretty risky for Schlid. He does have flash, and it is burnt immediately.
Whoa.
Keckle picks up quite an easy kill.
Yeah, that is going to be the end of the Orianna and probably the end of the mid lane turret unless Vi has something to say about it. Pings are going off, but Ariana Grande is confident. That's going to be a turret taken down, but the Vi is very strong right now.
No. That was second turret round. Okay. I thought they committed 650 gold to the jungler. That would have been really unorthodox.
Hey, man. I'm a recovering Rek'Sai man, and let me tell you, AD Rek'Sai, not even once. Except it actually is pretty good if you can play it well.
Ooh, Dud is online. Getting a lot of punishment onto Toklian. Toklian's actually going to turn this around. Chain of Corruptions goes out. Dud is online. Is caught out, but the teleport deters the attack.
That was pretty crucial there. With the teleport coming in, if the root had landed from Dud is Online's Featherstorm and Blade Caller combo, there would have been a reprisal kill or a flash burned from back from Earth at the very least, and maybe some turret pressure, but instead Echo teleports just to save his bottom laner. You never want to be using your teleport reactionarily in such a way that you are just using it, expending it in order to save something that would have been taken. You want to take with that spell. It's a proactive summoner spell. But unfortunately for the Thunderbirds, they're not able to find a suitable advantage as a result of Keckle expending that spell. They'll give Xayah a free back, but they're pushing the lane in pretty hard now. So it's going to be a while before the Xayah sees any more farm. And no completed item just yet for the AD carry, despite the Proto Belt, and on the other hand, in Keckle's hands, in his inventory.
Yeah, they need to be careful about how long they overstay. They don't have a bot lane tower. They are backing off now, which they should, because if they stay there much longer, you saw the response coming out of Schlid and Mickey Does Little. They were ready to pounce on that gold.
Absolutely. They were looking at them like they were walking sacks of money. Brando Calrissian with a huge minion wave right now. Color C trying to answer that. Actually, hold up. We haven't talked about this. The Color C... Oh, I'll get back to that. We Get Back from Earth is going to be going back to the grave. It looks like, whoa.
No. Actually flashes back to his turret. Barely able to survive, but go on with that thought.
I think I've got to go ask my ma if crow's for dinner after that one, because that's what I think I was eating. I was predicting his death, and he just used both summoners real quick. Very early use of it, but it looks like a team fight's brewing.
Yeah, we do see a catch out onto Mickey Does Little. He's trying to turn around, goes on to Keckle. Keckle is charmed, and that's one to drop. That's JLC falling. Toklian a little bit too far forward. Will the damage be enough? No, a dash away. Now Brando's falling really low. Great fight going on between both top laners. Pretty even, but overall, JLC falling puts the advantage to Team Turret Dive.
There are a couple blinking health bars on the side of Team Turret Dive. They have to be careful with their low health members. And this is what I wanted to talk about, actually. The Color C is going in AP build. Sorcery Shoes and Proto Belt are the first items picked up by the Kennen. This is not what I expected to see. I expected to see the AD split-pushing Kennen. You have an Orianna, but I guess maybe they thought with the Vi there's too much AD. Hold that thought, though. We got to fight.
Oh, and as quickly as we got that fight ended. But meanwhile, in the top lane, Ariana Grande chooses not to commit.
Now, there's no equalizer.
Probably
they can't
fear of
on
Mickey.
Yeah, they can't quite lay down the red carpet there, but Mickey does little. Now showing in the mid lane. This might be a tower trade. Looks like it will be.
Echo wants to deny it, actually.
He's got to be careful. Shockwave is up very shortly for Schlid, but it doesn't look like we're going to see anything come of their push in the middle lane. Actually, that might be collapse upon here.
No collapse coming out. Arena Grande and Kekel would have a hard time fighting that. It's not the easiest of exchanges to take when you have both a jungler that does really good damage with a team fight control mage like Orianna.
Yeah, Schlid's Orianna was actually, it was really good synergy with him and Talklean. In the last fight, you saw Talklean go channel the quickness and charm 2 members at least into a shockwave. That was some pretty good Orianna porn, if I don't say so myself. If you like shockwaves, if you're Ryu, and you're looking at that with your hyphen_hyphen face, and you're pretty proud.
Goodness gracious. So we do see another tower under siege. This tower will go down in the bot lane, setting up the towers to be 3-1. But overall, gold still pretty even. A gank in the mid lane onto Schlid. Schlid does have Shockwave, uses it onto Kekel. Kekel falls dangerously low, but has to use the Chrono Break to get away. Now we see Mickey does little, and a teleport coming out of the Color C, using that slicing Maelstrom to delete Dud is online from the game. A stun onto Arrow means he falls next. And this game's starting to get ran away with as Team Turret Dive take control.
They do indeed. Color C made a beautiful slicing Maelstrom play in the bottom lane, set up very well by Talklean, who used the quickness. In fact, Varus didn't even need to use ultimate that fight. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Mickey Does Little is a monster on the Vi. Has the phase all ready to keep up. Red buff to slow his enemies on top of it. This is a double move speed, 2 Boots 2 already completed, and the Warrior. This Vi is going to be dealing a lot of damage. Using the Assault and Battery to follow the flash from Rek'Sai as well was crucial. Wound up taking him down through the flash there. And Ariana Grande going down for the 3rd time this game. Now Mickey Does Little. He could just walk through the jungle and take what he wants.
I just want to point out, I had just said the gold is even. Suddenly, it's going towards the 3K deficit margin. So quickly, Team Turret Dive turned that around with great plays all over the map and a AP Kennen build. It really shined when he got onto the bot lane of the Thunderbirds.
Yeah, he picked himself up a couple of assists. Lines up working out. I had questions. I was definitely not convinced through that, but with the Vi's AD picking up the slack of the Kennen, he won't have as much of a split push threat, but at least he'll have more of a team fight presence, and it looks like that's what Team Turret Dive want to prioritize. We know how much both of these teams love to fight and skirmish, so it looks like they're going to get good mileage out of the AP itemization. Interesting rotations right now. Color C pushing pretty heavily down. Must have gotten an advantage off of the assist goal that he got. Doing more damage than Brando Calrissian would care to allow so far.
This looked like Banshee's Veil is being set up next for the Color C. And let's talk about the new Banshee's Veil for a second. That thing is ridiculously strong. I mean, there are things they were trying to get rid of with Abyssal Scepter. They pretty much just put all of that onto Banshee's Veil. They gave it so much strength. Pretty good siege coming out from the Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
Gets stopped, but a collapse might be coming in.
It looks like the makings of a pretty full fight here. Well, actually, Echo's staying around in the middle lane. Mickey Does Little. Gonna be looking to channel the Assault and Battery onto somebody. Actually gonna get Dredgeline though. Here's the fight.
Oh, Assault and Battery was used and denied immediately. Did not put it on cooldown though.
No, teleport canceled. By the
Echo.
and
there's the equalizer. Brando coming in with the flank shot, gets deleted. And now Brando's a little bit too deep in. Will he get picked off in time? Mickey barely able to survive. Kekel trying to make a difference in this fight, but has to burn the Chrono Break does manage to pick off Schlid. Kekel doesn't have anything, neither does Mickey. Ariana Grande able to pick up 1 kill. Back from Earth doing a lot of damage, left unchecked. They should run from this, but they haven't got away fast enough.
He's flashing in. He's aggressive. He's going for it.
Yeah, he wants these kills. Back from Earth, unable to pick it up. Yes, he does, and what a great piercing arrow to come out from Back from Earth.
What an insane fight from the 80 carry of Team Turret Dive. The star we deserve, but not the one we need right now. Just a beautiful fight setup for him as well. Lots of PL. Talklean actually had no ultimate that entire fight. Couldn't dive forward and do the crowd control that his team needed to have a more upfront success there. So instead, he positions himself so that he can use the grand entrance to stop anybody from attacking Back from Earth. But we got to fight in the bottom lane here. Might be going forward.
We do got to fight in the bottom lane. Sun's going back and forth. Kekel has to immediately retreat, but so does Color. Serious! Oh! Break takes him out. Expertly played coming out from Kekel.
What, did he not see the ghost? He has the shadows turned down? Come on. That was telegraphed from a mile away, Color C, but don't worry. His teleport's up by the time he's up. He'll be able to rejoin his team next time we see a fight. And it looks like there might be some Baron Vision Dance happening. Well, you know, with the early Banshee's Veil itemized from the Orianna, doesn't seem like too much damage is being done to the Nautilus. And he's a support Nautilus. That's not even a full tank either. Not nearly as tanky as a regular Nautilus can get. But look at that. He's just eating it. Wham bam, thank you, man.
Doing some work, but a failed flash results in a shockwave. Do they get done? No, they don't just yet. Mickey trying to get something out of this, but he's so caught up in 3 members. Nothing to do but fall to his grave as an assault and battery. He actually picks up.
Whoa!
This is actually getting turned around. Team Turret Dive come up huge with a rebuttal.
Yeah, that was an insane stay by Mickey Does Little. Picked up a double kill there, and I really have to credit Talklean on this Rakan. Using the quickness there, he actually was able to isolate and kill Dud is Online during the duration of the charm and stop her from dishing out any more damage, which would have almost certainly secured the kill onto Mickey Does Little. But hold up, we got a mid lane and top lane fight here.
Yeah, Kekel going after the Color C, gets stunned up. He does have the Chrono Break, but he is ulted and ults right into the Color C. Now Talklean unable to do much. He is just support against a pretty fed mid laner.
Yeah, that's definitely not what you want to see in the aftermath of a winning fight, is a huge overstay that results in multiple summoners being blown. No flash and no slicing maelstrom on the side of the Color C. Kennen will see a lot of reduced impact, more likely than not, for the next about minute and a half or so, at least, until his ultimate's back up. So that will maybe give them a little bit more of an advantage on the side of Thunderbirds. They can try and take the Drake that's spawning right now because they know they have an ultimate advantage. Chrono Break's going to be up a lot sooner, as you can see. Probably by 30 seconds or so. Uh-oh.
Man, there's 3 Banshee's Veils in this game right now.
Yeah, a lot of
I wouldn't be surprised to see one out of Kekel.
Yeah, we'll probably see that sooner rather than later. He's looking to finish the Zhonya's first right now. We'll talk about builds after this Dragon pressure has died down a little bit. Banshee's actually taken down by the Infernal Drake. That's pretty crucial if they want to set up some kind of equalizer combo here.
Oh,
here we go.
What a great equalizer to come out. Chunks out so many members of Team Turret Dive. They're unable to get any kills just yet, but down goes Schlid. Dudis Online picking up 1. He looks to pick up his second. The depth charge onto Talklean.
Whoa, Mickey Does Little, look at him.
Fall. No, he actually manages to survive, and that's 2 more down. Now back from Earth, trying to pick up Brando. Doesn't get the kill, but overall a net win for the Thunderbirds as they take 3 for nothing.
And as they move to the Baron pit right now, that could have actually been so much worse for Team Turret Dive, because Dud is Online, stayed alive throughout that entire fight, yes, but could have actually just entered in and followed up some damage onto Back from Earth while he was being dealt with or distracted by the rest of the team. Instead, Mickey Does Little holds off 3 members of the enemy team on this Vi. We talked about how powerful he was, but with him out of the picture, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to... Oh boy. Well, scratch that. Here comes the Color C. Slicing Maelstrom available.
goodness. Slicing Maelstrom's doing work. That's 2 pick down. And what should have been a pretty easy Baron pickup, a great response coming out of Team Turret Dive, once again equalizing what the Thunderbirds really just picked up.
Yeah, and well, all 5 of their members are up now. There's the Shockwave coming out as well. And, well, you know.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Brando, no.
You know, we said it once last game. He's unstoppable. This game, he's legendary. It's back from Earth. This man is 10-1 and 5 on Varus. I mean, come on. Do I even need to say anything else? How many times do I have to sing this man's praises? On Ezreal, he carries his team throughout the mid-game and allows them to scale up so that they can take a win when they really had no business securing it after that first flub. Whereas now, on Varus, even more impressive scoreline with even less mobility. Large part, due to Talklean's proficiency on Rakan, but hold that thought. Might have some pressure.
Is caught out. Slicing Maelstrom not available just yet. He might actually drop the stun onto Keckle. They need to get away from the shadow, and they don't get away in time. But Slicing Maelstrom is up, and that might be the end for Keckle. No, he drops before he can get a kill. Now Talklean all by himself has to run away from this fight. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, we do see a turret has come down. Here comes Mickey, and down goes the bot lane as well as Keckle. Now Brando unable to get away. Look at Back from Earth. He doesn't care. He picks up a double with ease.
Double for him, a triple for the Vi. That's going to be a not so clean ace coming out in favor of Team Turret Dive, but they got 3 members, 2 of which can push pretty fast, and they're going to try and do their best to take this middle lane inhibitor. It looks like it's as good as gone. And they have a way of pushing in the top lane and in the bottom lane. Rakan's prepped it. Talklean with this Baron buff. It looks to be that they're going to try and at least take this turret, if not go for a little bit longer and take the inhibitor.
Yeah, and this is just puts on so much more pressure. When it comes down to it, Thunderbird's big opportunity was in the early to mid game. But since they didn't really capitalize on it, especially, like, you look at it, they didn't pick up Rift Herald, they didn't get any dragons whatsoever. They're suffering so bad now, especially because we've gotten into the late game, and this is where Team Turret Dive's comp thrives.
Red side Varus is so hard to get out of, but especially when you don't have the Runons on the Xayah, and you're going up against Baron-empowered minions, even if Xayah hadn't wound up dying in that fight, I don't think that his online would have been able to have the same efficacy at sort of delaying or sort of stopping outright the siege as he did on Caitlyn last game. And that was one of the reasons why it lasted for 45 minutes before Team Turret Dive wound up taking the victory. Looks like it might be a more decisive game this time. Definitely more decisive in terms of the gold lead. Uh-oh! That's a good heads-up play from Talklean.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, I was not expecting that one. Talklean's been really impressing me on this Rakan. I was not expecting this level of proficiency out of him on this champion. Haven't been released so recently, just 1 patch ago. But here we go. This is the fight that they have to take.
They can't give up a 3rd inhibitor. They really do need to take this. That inhibitor falling dangerously low does get dropped, and now that's going to be 2 extra. That's going to be 1 extra super minion per lane, and that's going to make it so hard for the Thunderbirds, who don't have any good source of wave clear.
Especially when the Baron buff is still active. That will be expiring pretty shortly, and that will probably mean that the in 50 seconds this next Drake comes out. Maybe that's what Team Turret Dive try and prioritize, because let's face it, Thunderbirds are going to be in their base for quite a while, but I guess we'll have to see just how it works out. They still have Baron for a little while, and they're trying to use their Baron-empowered supers to push into this Nexus, but this is a little risky.
This is a little bit risky,
comebacks,
but they do have a lot of cushion to do these risky plays. I mean, 3 inhibitors down and a Baron buff, which expired, by the way. But
it did just wind up going down. But Dragon up in 10 seconds. They might not want to be super risky about it. It looks like they are going to retreat towards that, using the Orianna speed buff from the Distortion? Is that what the W is? I think so. I don't know.
So
I'm a
now we're
color
seeing
caster. I don't need to know
Mountain
ability
Drake.
names.
You see the Mountain Drake being picked up, and
Oh, as if they didn't have
4
enough siege
Drakes.
potential. They only have 2 more
Yeah.
structures to kill before the Nexus is bare. Well, that's going to make it that much easier anyways. They now have over 12,000 gold, or just about 12,000 gold, hovering around that point in favor of Team Turret Dive. Thunderbirds, if they come back from this one, it'll be even more miraculous than the comeback that Team Turret Dive had orchestrated last game.
yeah, but in the end, it's just not going to happen. This comp is just too set for this type of situation. They have 3 inhibitors down, and they love to just pick fights and win team fights straight out. Lock up someone, chew them up, spit them out. They can take anything they want. It's pretty much over. This really, they have to really reconsider their draft when they get into this 3rd game.
You don't say. I mean, it's already going to be match point at this point if the W does go over to Team Turret Dive and chew him up, spit him out. I mean, that's what Kekka was doing all game last match as Cho'Gath, and it still wasn't enough. No, it looks like Schlid able to get the better of him. I mean, to be fair, Schlid's scoreline is indicative of maybe a weaker laner, but turns out synergy is what matters more in this case, as summoners are already starting to be blown here. This is going to be the final fight breaking out here very shortly as the minion waves continue to spill in. Look at all those supers.
Yeah, oh, that is just too much pressure. Arrow trying to go in, but he's in the middle of 5 members, and there's the shockwave. Not getting too much done, but the Maelstrom gets more done as member after member drops. Keckle's gonna go down next, able to flash away just in time. 3 down in an exposed in Nexus gives the win to Team Turret Dive.
They're now up 2-0 in this finals series. Team Turret Dive need 1 more win to clinch out the finals and become champions. And when we get back from our break, that is exactly what we are going to find out. Are we going to see them? Are we going to see some new kings in Dragon League? Or is Ariana Grande going to mount a sweet, sweet Cloud9-esque reverse sweep comeback? Well, we'll find out in about 5-10 minutes when we come back.